Hello, everyone. Just wanted to bring you some good news. Amber Heard, she went on and settled the defamation case with Johnny Depp. Now, you know that Johnny Depp had filed a suit against her for defamation of character, and she will have to pay $1 million to the attorneys. So, you know, both of them, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, are actors. And remember, they were in court uh, earlier this year, and he actually won that defamation suit against Heard in this high profile civil trial. Now, you remember they went through a divorce and they settled their divorce and things like that. And so Amber Heard and Johnny Depp have settled their defamation case, which Heard summed up as a very difficult decision and a result of her having lost faith in the American legal system. Now, I'm going to stop right there for a moment. She's losing faith in the system because it didn't go her way. And it's really sad when women make up stories about men, or they embellish the story or exaggerate the story uh, instead of telling the truth. In a lot of cases, and because we are in a Me Too era movement, we're dealing with, this Me Too movement magnitude of women coming out filing suits against men, and especially high profile men or public figures or actors or singers, rich men. And you've seen the cases, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly. You have Trey Songz out here. You have Chris Brown out here. And then you even have the men like Victor Simmons and Maurice Hastings. You have different men that have been accused that may not have been high profile men. And so she's saying that she lost faith in the judicial system. But I believe that she wanted people to believe her and she didn't get her way. And so now she's lost faith because they didn't go along with a lot of the things that she was saying. And I think it's only fair that we look at both sides of it. And she was doing a lot in that relationship with Johnny Depp, doing the most. And no one is saying that any man that I've named, is perfect, because none of us in life is perfect. But I don't believe in making up stories and not being truthful and bringing fake allegations or false allegations, if you will, on other people just to win money or to defame their name because you're angry, you're bitter, because things didn't work out. You want to get revenge, you want to retaliate. Those are things that really can show a person's character. And I believe that Amber Heard showed her character in a lot of ways. And first of all, remember, she lied about the donation that she was supposed to make when she won the money in the divorce settlement. It was supposed to go directly to two, one was a hospital and another organization, and she didn't do that. And then her attorney stated that the reason why she didn't do it is because she was being sued. And that is far from the truth, because she had way enough time, ample time, to give donations to where she had promised in front of a judge, in front of a judge. So she actually lied in the courtroom to a judge. And a lot of times people think that when they prevail in these cases against these men, that it's an end all, win all, be all. And actually, it comes back on you in many different ways. People will reap what they sow. And I think with Amber Heard, you're reaping what you sow, and you might even reap more, because it's time out for women that continue to make up stories on men just to get money, just to get rich, just to get revenge. It's time out for that. And I'm glad that Johnny Depp fought back. And there's got to be more men fighting back, like Bill Cosby fought back. Continue to fight, Bill, Mr. Cosby, and Weinstein fighting back. I mean, we as men, and R. Kelly too, with his appeal. It's time to fight back, because a lot of these women are not damsels in distress. A lot of them have money, or they've made it some kind of way with, manipulation and getting over on men. And women do hold the power, when it comes down to who they are as women. And we understand a lot behind that. But it comes to a point where we have to start protecting our men as well and standing up for what is right. and making sure that we don't condone wrong. And, we have to be careful about what we put out in the universe, because then you see people grabbing a hold of those things and running with it until it becomes a movement. And then you have men catching cases left and right. And when men deserve to catch cases, some of them don't. The ones that deserve it, but the ones that don't, that really didn't do anything to deserve a case of a loss of, income or jail time. Why the other ones that really need to be behind bars are not behind bars. And we have to get to a place where, we just don't jump into a wagon with everybody else, when just because a woman comes out and says that a man did this or did that to them. And so she so she agreed to pay her former husband, her ex-husband, $1 million in the settlement, according to Depp's legal team. Now, that's a significant drop from the $15 million in damages that a Virginia court ruled against the actor in June. Now, she says, it's important for me to say that I never chose this. I defended my truth, and in doing so, my life as I knew it was destroyed, Heard wrote in a message posted to Instagram Monday. Now, I'm going to stop right there, because you defended your truth. But was it the real truth? Were you just being a talebearer of making up stories and lying and putting rumors out there, false rumors about this man? Because, we can always say our truth, that's my truth. But we need to be honest about what the truth is, because there's always more than one side. And I think that to say you lost faith in the judicial system when they didn't just believe you, and they gave Mr. Death a platform as well to speak his truth, and it came out in the court of law. So you lost faith in the judicial system because you lost when all of the evidence was out there. And it's sad, because we see a lot of men that the truth is out there and they still lose. They're still behind bars, or they're still convicted, even though their truth has been put out there. Because when you have people that work in these court systems that want to manipulate the system and twist words around and twist laws to convict men. And so I know that in this case, Amber, I believe that, you have to, repent of the things that you've done. uh, you know, you're saying your life was destroyed, but you set out to destroy this man's life, because you went all around saying that this man abused you and all types of things you said he did to you. So you set out to destroy this man's life. You really did. And when you set out to do things vengefully and get revenge, when vengeance is mine, thus saith the Lord, and when you set out to get revenge on people, you set out to do them wrong, and then it backfires. Then now you've lost faith in the judicial system, the same judicial system that you wanted them to believe that you had never did anything to hurt this man, the same judicial system you wanted them to go along with your foolery and your you know the foolishness. You wanted the judicial system to do that, and if they had have done that, then you would be celebrating that you love the judicial system. It worked in your favor. But because they listened to both sides of the case, and they saw it and it was testimony from both sides, then you have a problem with that. You just wanted it to be one-sided. And that's the thing. We cannot have one-sided cases. The scales are, when they become so tilted, it's a violation of someone's constitutional rights. And it's sad when that happens, when people are not, some men don't get fair trials. And so when you say that your life was destroyed, you set out to destroy this man's life, Amber. And not only did you set out to do that, but you dig this hole, right? And I understand that Proverbs 26:27 clause 8 says that the pit you dig it is the one you would fall in it. So are you in your own pit, the same one you dig? Because it's not two or three pits. It's a pit, and that pit is the same pit that you're going to fall in. So, you're going on to say that your life was destroyed, but you did try to destroy this man's life. Now, attorneys for Depp told HuffPost in a statement that they are pleased with the case's closure and that the judgment against Heard remains fully in place. This payment reinforces Ms. Heard's acknowledgement of the conclusion of the legal system's rigorous pursuit for justice, says Benjamin Chu and Camille Vasquez. The $1 million will be donated to charity, according to Depp's attorneys. Now, a source close to Depp told Huff the funds will be paid through Heard's insurance. Now, I'm going to read something she posted, on her Instagram. And it says right here, after a great deal of deliberation, I have made a very difficult decision to settle the defamation case brought against me by my ex-husband in Virginia. It's important for me to say that I never chose this. I defended my truth, and in doing so, my life as I knew it was destroyed. The vilification I have faced on social media is an amplified version of the ways in which women are re-victimized when they come forward. Now I finally have an opportunity to emancipate myself from something I attempted to leave over 6 years ago, and on terms I can agree to. I have made no admission. This is not an act of concession. There are no restrictions or gags with respect to my voice moving forward. Now, there may be more on Instagram that she said, but however, I don't think that it's always about victimization. I really don't. I believe that, women have a choice. Women make decisions, but at the end of the day, it's also how you handle those decisions and choices that you make. You can walk away gracefully, and take and move forward with your belongings, or you can stay and fight and battle back and forth over money that you think belongs to you. Because Amber, you really did believe that this man's money belonged to you, at least a lot of it. What was it, $7 million or whatever it was, or something like that figure, and you felt that belonged to you. And and things like that. And we have women that marry for money. They don't marry for love. They marry for a come up, and then they get angry when the come up backfires on them. And so with that being said, I'm not here to re-victimize or victimize anyone, but I can clearly see common sense. I can see it, I can smell it, I can taste it. And I think that we have to all have common sense when it comes down to these cases of women putting cases on men. Men should be given a fair opportunity, to be able to tell their side of the story as well, because there are men that are victims of domestic violence. And Johnny Depp seems to have been a victim of it as well. And, men are not taken serious. A lot of times they're laughed at, even by law enforcement. They're not taken serious when a man contacts the police or the authorities. And a lot of times men do not contact the police or authorities because they will not be taken seriously. They usually will believe the woman. So there are many, many cases out here of men that are being victimized and abused on a daily basis by their female spouses, and they do not report it. There's a lot of cases that go unreported, more than we will ever know, because men are supposed to be the strong one, the breadwinner, the provider, the protector. And so when something goes wrong in a relationship and the woman calls the authorities, they're 9 times out of 10, a lot of times they believe the woman. They'll even make the man leave his own home that he's paying for, that he's the breadwinner, that he bought all the purchases, all the things. A lot of times they will take the man to jail without the woman. And then there's a case where they might both take both of them to jail and have them to sit out, even though the woman might have been the aggressor. Now, I saw a video recently where this woman came home on a rampage, a rage, and started tearing up her house and then slicing the tires of her husband's car, brand new car now. He didn't even have a plate on it yet. And the officer pulled him aside and told him there was nothing he could do because it was on her property, which I find that to be hard to believe. I didn't know what state that was in because I wanted to look up the laws there, because I find that to be hard to believe, that you're up here damaging someone's property and you're saying that it's her property as well. But I would have went the farther to say, well, my name is the only name on this, sales slip, a contract, and I would like you to see it. And then the other thing is that it depends on the state that you're in, because if you're not in a community property state, that makes a difference. But there are certain states that are community property, so maybe they considered it community property if they are in a community property state because the car was obtained during the marriage. But if not, then, but even so, they should have stopped her from slashing the tires of this man's car. I don't believe the woman worked. I believe she was a stay-at-home mom, but he actually does work. He's a provider. And so he said that later he gave an update that he was filing a order of protection against her. And that's a good thing so that he doesn't get caught up and catch a case. Because if you don't do anything about your situation, men, and if you don't protect yourself and your assets and your reputation, then you can be caught up in a bad situation. So let me go on to finish this up. Depp sued Heard for defamation over a 2018 Washington Post opinion article in which she identified herself as a domestic abuse victim. The Pirates of the Caribbean star has denied Heard's allegations of abuse. While Heard was ordered to pay damages to her ex-husband, which her attorneys recently appealed, she was also awarded $2 million in compensatory damages for a statement made by an attorney for Depp that she said was defamatory. Now you remember that he did admit that, he didn't lie about what he did, and so she did get, the compensatory, but from minus what she was getting versus what she owed, so there was a difference between what she owed and what she was actually getting. It was like you might as well just minus that out and pay him, Amber. But anyway, Heard said Monday that the settlement does not prevent her from being able to speak freely, though through the Depp source told HuffPost that the judgment can still be used against her if she continues to repeat her abuse allegations. So she needs to just leave it alone and move forward. No one can heal if they keep holding on to stuff. So she really does need to just go ahead, just repent, ask for forgiveness, and move on, and heal, because you cannot heal steadily holding on and talking about stuff. And that's the same thing it seems like with Andrea Lee Kelly. Continually to say you are a victim of abuse and you're out here, slandering and defaming your ex-husband's name as well. And you keep doing it when you were actually in, the transcripts that you, was accused of being in a situation with Rayshonda Landfair. So it's really interesting how these women come out saying they are victims of abuse, but then they later, I'm telling you, are found out. God is going to reveal everything. So you may be able to lie right now and get away with stuff, but eventually God reveals everything. Now, Amber goes on to say, I have made no admission. This is not an act of concession. There are no restrictions or gags with respect to my voice moving forward. Heard wrote. Now, she could be seen exiting the courtroom beside her sister Whitney Heard in June. That was when in June back then. And she said, Heard said Monday that her settlement with Depp is not an act of concession. And so the Aquaman actor said that settling the case was a kind of last resort, even if she were able to successfully appeal. She said she wouldn't want to subject herself to a retrial. She says, I cannot afford to risk an impossible bill, one that is not just financial, but also psychological, physical, and emotional. She wrote, women shouldn't have to face abuse or bankruptcy for speaking her truth, but unfortunately it is not uncommon. Well, I have to disagree with you, because a lot of times men have been falsely accused and they have not been able to speak their truth or even given a platform or a voice. And she keeps talking about speaking her truth. But what about the real truth? See, there's a difference in speaking your truth and the real truth. So that's not a true statement to say that it's not uncommon. It's actually is. It's not. When she says it's not uncommon, I disagree, because women have been given a voice to speak, and they've always had a voice, and they've always usually have prevailed, a lot of them. Now, there are women that have not been given a voice, like in the workplace. I got all of that. But to say that you're not given a voice, that's not true. It's a lot of women have been given a voice. And that's why it's important to hear both sides of a story, because, again, men can be victims of abuse as well. Now, the former couple faced a sensational weeks-long trial that saw their personal lives played across global television screens, ridiculed on social media, and widely used as entertainment. Heard compared the experience to a previous trial that took place in the UK over a tabloid headline calling Depp a wife beater. The trial ended in 2020 with the court determined that Heard had been abused by Depp, as she claimed. Now, when I stood before a judge in the UK, I was vindicated by a robust, impartial, and fair system where I was protected from having to give the worst moments of my testimony in front of the world's media, and where the court found that I was subjected to domestic and sexual violence, she wrote. Heard said that her experience in the U.S. by comparison left her shattered and distrusting of her country's legal system. Now, they do things differently over in the UK. So you won over there, but you didn't win over here. So Heard said that let me see. So now that the legal battle is behind her, she says she wants to spend her time productively and purposely. Heard did not offer any additional details about her plans, but said that she would turn attention to the work that helped me heal after my divorce, which she said makes her feel seen, heard, and believed, in which I know I can affect change. Now, you might be able to do that, Amber, but I think the important thing is not not lying about what truly happened to you in that relationship, because you were not just a victim, standing there only a victim, as you're saying. You actually participated in abuse yourself, in abusive ways, toxic ways, violent ways, and you was not forthcoming. And so over there, you felt that because you won over there, that you should win over here. But in the American judicial system, it's supposed to be fair, and you wanted your UK case to be used over here so that you can get away with what you got away with over there. And so, because you didn't get your way over there and they gave Mr. Death a voice, you have no trust in the judicial system. But I beg to differ when it comes down to this situation, because every case is different. But I followed this case, and it just, to me, Amber just wasn't being forthcoming. But anyway, leave your respectful comments below. Tell me what you think about this case. Do you feel it is a victory for men, or for, I know for Johnny Depp it is, but a victory for men, that men will continue to fight? Men keep fighting, men don't give up, and also free R. Kelly. Okay, so you guys leave your respectful comments below. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share, subscribe to the channel if you're not a channel member. And you know what? Don't forget to hit that button where, so you can get all the notifications. The notification button, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances paid for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at StandupBcounted. Check out my OitsSharine Jewelry. And then don't forget to stick with this 6 weeks, any mode or form of exercise, 3 times a week, 30 minutes a day, and you can do it in 10-minute increments. And thanks again for supporting my channel and tuning in. God bless you all on today.